Lawyer, Aquaba. So microphone man. Na pa cho ho ye de.
Nyame adom ho ye pa na so.
Nyame de ache.
De nyame ase na pa na metie wo ba adwuma pa Ghana da wase.
Ina ase. Na moko tranche moko opposition afie atwam nie. Ohu aban sen.
Me da se enwuma de ma me fa akonya so na me nchi ahwefo ne etifo agibre o mo hwe Kessben TV Kessben radio enwuma na me fa afishia mpanso ma wankasa. Me se afie na yishia.
Sure.
Ti afishia pa. Ya ko opposition no kre 1 year nie. Aban yi baaye no de obetima ye no waye. But ohwe aban ne scorecard na inflation above form you see the no a stabilizer aban ne bone ho modern but aban ne successes are wenye nia no na as a result of foundation aban ye twemu ni leye usually no can same way na aban mu nkrofo ne person mo no konto kwa say intade na mo ho na ne mo anye ba behwe a NPP e ba abemu 2017 now you were part of economic growth. Now you record agricultural growth. You reduce unemployment. Yeah, the free senior high school policy aba and also boost your education. Yeah, there's so many policy interventions planted for food and jobs near the idea aba. From 2017 to 2019, the economy ni koye. Until sometime in 2020, any the better we ask your family na your friend COVID. My economy ni go into distress. I will not sit here and pretend say 2020 covered by the economy was in good shape because if the president at the time, President Akufo-Addo, I say he knows how to bring back the economy, but he doesn't know how to bring back human lives. Covered by baby to say Italy and a month the daily death toll nipa ne wu a day in Italy no close to about 250 people a day. Ghana has a jamia dom yetimi manage COVID situation lockdowns and semi-munia into my economy no echo into distress kakra into after COVID-19 na it was a buying it meeting na utimi a plan be to the economic recovery plan to make sure say distress economy ni cool through and inflation skyrocket here could do by 57%. Na your debt to GDP a cost na fi care many obeka ya na sa Britain Wood institutions here omo ye credit scoring omo downgrading ni ade ni nia ye nioma a high economy ni the economy ni echo into distress into aban start economic recovery plan with the obeka Dr. Baomi idea or the with the domestic debt domestic good purchase program. How they buy says say you good you ba beto Ghana ha say na be ya you bitimi dia aboa a sustaining your currency no Ghana has against the US dollar the good for oil policy ne ade ne ka hunia ni aboa ma KPMG for ni Deloitte for the projection by say by 2025 no Ebema Ghana high inflation as at 2024 na 27% na so betia ba single digit. Your dollar to the cedi as at 2024 December no na 14 cedis to a dollar na. Ebeba single digit. Omo project single digit which means 59 cedis eco form. It is na aban na banasa aban no witness this kind of economic growth. I think say first aban no be take credit, however no due to economic foundation, the solid economic foundation about that than lay into no bisa buying we say then policy intervention ben pa no dia buying tia yedru baby a yedru na omuntimi nka bibia anchel because we hear projections are KPMG ni Deloitte mo de buy na che say CPP kura ni wini aban in 2024 anka dia yehu Ghana sese no anka yebehu bi because of the foundation the SWAL administration no ele inti aban we buy no obo ne homodie bi ba ye pese ye assess aban ni year I was say compare aban the promises or the promises Ghana for vis-a-vis the buy no why aban we buy me young person so I'll concentrate on job creation more aban we buy no share one of their major flagship program not the most the most advertised flagship program of aban we are 24-hour economy. Almost your mobile, a Juma nipa bako yen, say nipa mi and sane pay. Because nipa bako beya no pa bako beye, we are bako beye nume. We patch 1 year down the line. Afeina, just last week was the last 2 weeks, Omate Advisory Council on the 24-hour economy. Me wa ni akoye economic forum that at the roadmap in Yaba somba beye the 24-hour economy. 1 year down the line, Omuntimi implementing 24-hour economy. Secondly, President Mahama in opposition Ghana for boss say oba utility bo was soro nkania ne nsuo bo was soro nti oba bete so President Mahama be di mampani 1 year ni ne scorecard ne say watu nkania bo mu nko 4 times ani ni akabo ma watu nkania bo mu by 27.8%. Idina ezi ahwefo ehwe me muto prepaid na asantem no muto prepaid na asantem a umita na enye hwe fort bi amba ho ye menko for electrician bi amani be di usika e ya ban na atu nkania mu because they say nkania first now to prepaid 500 cedis a obetimi di etwa be 1 month and now 2 months this is auto 500 cedis a 1 week 2 weeks na san because ya atu nkania bomu by 27.8%. Inti no ya dia e hadwen.
No, just Mahama conditionalities am koje buy no.
You see that is the false narrative of Modiatum. Nowhere in IMF staff level agreement reach here in 2024 na chair say e was say aban no e share say e share aban say ontu nkania na say e yibom. But o share IMF staff level agreement na aban dada na reach here na agreement na chair say ye manage your debt because o mine no na e ka emene ye nti ye manage your debt na IMF for ne man the opportunity say saban no entimi meet the revenue expectations are and ye onto utility tariffs mo. So that was a very one can say shortcut or an easy way to raise revenue, but abai we opposition na abai we are aware of IMF conditionality no. But in spite of that no Omushe Ghana for boss say omobe reduce utility tariffs. But omoba they are clearly doing it otherwise. Because you see Ghana has a sovereign nation. No Bretton Woods institution say IMF will say World Bank will say America will say then you obi aniwa obetimashe Ghana say every quarter be atunkania boom. Nobody can do that. This is a sovereign nation. We manage our own affairs. It is not true for the NDC people to communicate to say NPP for the year share IMF staff level agreement. There is nothing like that in there. FBM we utility free ho any 24-hour economy omuntimi nya your mobile omuntimi create edwuma bia ma mebnu esu mi wo mobile no mebnu nko omoyi omedi free edwuma mu kwa 68,000 mebnu kwa 68,000 because mobile mebnu a ye form edwuma wo GRE. For instance, as far back as 2021, crowd no pamo money. Me sure say what he complains ni bia ni bi crowd for me collation or me dia kwa copy court say court encasa unlawful termination of my appointment TB mom. Nti abai we buy no ntimi create adwuma bia.
But said that was the first year. Sa baby aba feed the kind of or the two foundation then they take off.
No, but you see abai we ba no in the manifesto he was clear say even in 120 days he was going to do certain things. Enti abai we no ankasa the man ho timeline and opposition the man the timeline so ono ankasa the man ho timelines ono na setting the questions a man ho marking scheme and was am fairly me pacho what you say because over here galamsey asema ye ken kura ni dia manifesto almost in the first 120 days no omo be make sure say omo be ma galamsey eswat drastically and bra and ye ko odotobri me pacho nam say enclave mu ho ni galamsey koso and then 2 days ago ye ko adanse asokwa o ko adanse asokwa ye tu galamsey wo and then me pacho ye ntia santimante mu na just about 3 weeks ago say 2 weeks ago security operatives ekoche nkofo bi wo primary school a ewo adanse honom say na formina mum primary school ewo formina say amanfo 2 galamsey wo primary school ni mfimfi yenti kromo na 3 weeks ago Abomosu STEM senior high school you say amanfo 2 galamsey wo Abomosu STEM senior high school formina de ne Akrokere primary school amanfo 2 galamsey just 3 weeks ago ya 3 weeks ago ya yedi bronya wie ya na galamsey no ekoso nti galamsey ne de ade a ekoso a eguso a ekoso yeti omai we mu na Attorney General Trokoma Yoko say NDC officers me no omo third vice national chairman and omo national organizer they should be investigated for galamsey related activities. Me purchase investigation akwa kosi say. Eti kro we mu amai we mu ana. Ye be blame Ashanti regional minister for his involvement in galamsey. Nipa na odi allegation to minister ne so na nche bia ne ati say CID for achi nipa ne say publication of false news ne that the Edinburgh no ehunu na nipa ne be pacho. But clearly no amanfo e wo from the various communities enim say galamsey na ekoso me enem ekohu bi. Omo kwa dance new adubia si ne enim say o kwa galamsey ne yetu ufi akra e ba Kumasi a utwemu nyinem police station achi wa galamsey ne ekoso with impunity. Galamsey ne koso inti abai we promise or the buy say President Akufo-Addo ene ne NPP for ne tu galamsey no a Ghana for etie ya nti Ghana for ka say NPP for yen kwotena ba bi no mo so NDC for hwe no NDC for buy the galamsey is still happening and now come and penini kroma bole because of black voter extension no what is oma discover gold e wo bole ukọ bole a just last week na me kan news be say bole MC ne say abanda intervene dia in the next few months no man here galamsey for ni betu amon for ni every bole. This is the president's hometown. So does the president feel proud as an indigenous of Bole? So koni krom no hu senia ye tu galamsey e wa man for bedrooms with impunity no. Does he feel proud of it? It is a worrying situation.
Na ma kwan ma man for Christ cavators be gu musa anti juma na mo yeto ho no e na man say fight na ayeden.
Enya no ke
cavators amabere so man for dia ba e wa galamsey site no.
It is never true say ya pension e ma kwan say omo first cavators ne bra ndisi for ne kasa na entro no mutwa denti amekasa na say under ya pension ye intervention bi ba ye e wo minerals commission na ye heavy equipment tracking command center say heavy equipment bia enya excavators nko but heavy equipment bia etimi di tu galamsey ye bia no wo di bedru port pe automatically no e be trigger minerals commission for a command system. I'm a minerals commission for a track. Beside the other equipment in a baby. Say, uni ABR works in housing certificate, and that's on your road contractor being out this equipment in a bar. Yeah, my own clear equipment. The equipment, the best and walk back because what can be the excavator by into the galamsey? Then you are getting it wrong because excavator no anya galamsey nkwa na etimidi too many ye the excavator so ye road construction ye bridge construction the contractor be ye na adwuma no akra excavator by no ntere the fact that excavator aba no and no chere say the kotu galamsey. If that is the argument they want to make obeje dey say 1 year near NDC ba be o ma cra excavator nkwa close to 300 excavators 1 year ni does it mean that 300 excavators ni ni akwa galamsey site na. But what in the American say, and you know, this galamsey issue has to be addressed holistically. And I always say, what ye in sema NDC for ne car, a time no more position. As someone back home can say, if President Akufo-Addo then, or no wa bemu, person solve galamsey, or the less than 1 week never solve galamsey because he has all the state power. Me pachene then assessor. If President Mahama wants to solve galamsey, he can solve galamsey. Just this evening, just about 15 minutes ago, me bet na here na me who say Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources for issue statement say Naimos Doma Central omo shutu Naimos soldier baako because okoise na manfo tu galamsey or Doma Central kwa stop it. They have shot the military officer. Enyumrewe ya. I no kire say galamsey is still happening and now it is happening with impunity. They say it is happening to the extent say civilians with the audacity say or be attacking military officers. And 2 months was 3 months ago yana Asante region mo sister region baako Ahafo region. Go so Asante say 9 months 4 year omo kwantia galamsey. And also no NDC MP a owo ho wa instructed the constituency for say omonche galamsey soldier for nembo omo if say omo stop omo say omo ntu galamsey. It happened just some few months ago. Enti offer galamsey na semne there. It is still happening with impunity. Enti about the galamsey fighter, this government has failed. The third thing is say abai we ba eba no shebo e woni manifesto mu say every year biano oba be ye bibi e friend the edumera policy in part so tie say every omalanche omo say every year biano omo be fa imabunu 10,000 am omo sika am omo dia ye adwuma me part omo lanche we en yem bi say dem biom no maye omo ntimi ma imabunu nipa ba kokura sika say on fanya adwuma edi edumera policy no it has also failed and onim dey ntia fail because the government doesn't have money. enti no NEIP
be a fee na budget no. We are now in January.
There be
budget was approved in November.
No, but you see, this is the second budget of Makayo. Omo first budget in January. In January, Omo can be allocated 100 million Ghana cedis. So share budget and appendix 2025 budget as I'm making you. They were going to allocate about 100 million Ghana cedis for the Juma program. They couldn't allocate the 100 million Ghana cedis. And do you know why? It is because the revenue expectation are now buying a war in 2025. No, when to meeting the revenue expectation.
So much as
what I say,
more canon and mess.
There be
Mahama because Ghana's economy is a crime scene. So we see a managing economy. Now so much
it is the same
before they take off.
It is the same economy. You see, the irony is that they do not have money, just 100 million Ghana cedis to roll out the Jumeirah program, but they have billions of dollars to buy presidential jets. You see the irony? The same economy now say a crime scene. No, so economy net mama uska. Say fakoto Airbus private jet and we nipa 15 penny beti matinin. But just I say private jet now buying the kwakoto nipa 15 penny timitin. And the koto helicopters 4. Then so 100 million ye de be fa mabnu adwuma de bi ni ho so ye nya $63 million. The equipment yama the president. So you can't say me in here. You clearly see the commitment to create jobs is just not there. Secondly, almost on the national apprenticeship program, equal lanche or tamale fefe. Omulanchi vi na akusi say. Akusi wa. They haven't been able to roll out the national apprenticeship program. Why? Because the government is broke. The government doesn't have money.
Then I make her say
again.
First year there now omo so omo SCC fie when you say second year you see more
there be
pioneer how they are going to
say omo ba every year they are going to do it in their budget omo ba buy any buy no 2025 na nyeso buy ya no kokan budget to onya be 3 months the budget was ready in April. Okay. Yes, it was read somewhere in April.
Yes, after 3 months in office.
Absolutely, because
the
point I'm making is that during transition, the friend or handing over and that transition. You transition to the new government. The government na amanye dia na ewo ho no modada. O transition we na sa aban ni be take charge. Aban no so betena se aye omu meeting ahwe based on transition and the omu betima ye ni the omu ntimi nye. The omu betima ye ne no mo de be share omu budget mo. Me patcho what you say. Aban the budget in 2025 no mo di shemu se omu be ye 100 million Ghana cedis for a Jumeirah project. That is what I'm saying. Say, despite their omunim NPP for a handover power more in 2025, they knew say they had the capabilities to run the Jumeirah program. Now, omunim so omuniska omudebe run the Jumeirah program. Now, why did they launch it? Why did they call for applications? Were they deceiving Ghanaians? No more person but that Ghana for now. Because my launch program, launching in kwa mo launch ye nkwa hu sika nkwa na nke tibi fa mabnu be 50 adwuma. But just what did they make? And I say, maybe 50 and 100 a Juma. Because the cost of the launching alone, because launching on the yen will kumasi ha. President, you know, once and your private jets be or the domestic travels. And no, they buy government ministers say buy cost of mobilization of Nkrofo be good them who niano. Says he can nkwana nketimi fa mebnu be 100 a Juma. And the point I'm making is that this government made a promise on one hand, and on the other hand, they are failing to fulfill their promises. Maybe just what did I make and I say? The third thing on kind is omoba be the teacher dabre program. Says no omoni ombe share abua a teacher for. Omoba the teacher dabre program no omunti mi lunch here. Ebiom omuso omoba be create jobs, back to the jobs. Now no ya so what he said next is for aye demonstration say abai ne buy no ntimi more clearance here. About won't be more clearance here. So the nurses, the teachers are still at home, still now no omunya jumanje. And the offer, make us a make us make him cost unfulfilled promises be. But you see, it says a Ghana for complaining per almost inflation above from dollar above from petrol above from. But all these things, all these things are not due to any superior policy intervention about with the Abba. Because they cannot tell us any superior policy intervention on media, but all these things are more ripping in here, and so munya so fast winning here. It's as a result of foundational about that than lay. It will be a 2024 election campaign. I sent back one NPP for near can say economic distress yakobune high cost of living a witnessing yan nyoma ye de egu form no eso be ban faso from 2025 me sure so kai se kan sansem no nti eso faso na dey say NDC for ni repi no men ka say e ya de bone o ma ya de say inflation etimedu sa point na de but the point is that the inflation above from it has to translate into the people's pocket. Inflation above from so bottle water bo kosoro. Inflation above from dollar above from so called University of Ghana, your 2 students school fees move from 3,500 to 4,500. Your 2 hostel fees move from 4,000 Ghana cedis to 5,700 Ghana cedis. But what I say, it in as much as you see kasem ni nya ho so no. Cost of living on one side is still skyrocketing. And then Accra transport crisis I hate Accra unim dentia because fan go walk from so spare parts walk through. That is the irony. That is the irony. It is a truck drivers no more park here on my cars and because almost ye adwuma e can no mobile because any fuel nkwana drivers and that is not the only component in the transport business. And you know abai we no oye de obeye bia but there are still fundamental challenges. Ghanaians are crying, Ghanaians are still complaining. Intimidated the Americans say they have a 4-year mandate. We wish them well. Me, I don't wish say President Mahama be failing. President Mahama and what's so failure and an NPP about because election be a contest of ideas. President Mahama needs not to fail before NPP can come into government. So I don't wish for President Mahama to fail. We wish him well. Ghana Ghana France amanyoku.
Right. $1 said the Amabreso dollar T free power from 2022. Then I'm 6.7. Near T near a core 70 bar from Kakra move free so 14 point something. And now baby or manage the dollar within 1 year. Yama name bia ye kra ne bono a stabilize na umo mabaso so ba yade
oh ntina me di kan say aban ne de so ye bia no waye regarding sansensemi but ye bi say won say ba ne say na dollar na ba form. We have to attack the question from that perspective. Eba ne say ntina because aban we ba ye no offer superior policy bia mba ya ye beka say no ntina bibia koso. Today, Sami Jemfi's gold board is flourishing due to Dr. Bawumia's idea of the gold reserves program, the domestic gold purchase program. That is the Lexa gold board indigenous. People just what you say. In the next year, CD no akofoma. All what they say is that gold board, no the foundation. It is Dr. Bawumia's idea. Gold board's foundation is Dr. Bawumia's idea. And you know. I always admit say they have tried their possible best. However, and I still maintain that the foundation was laid by the Eswal administration. That they cannot take it away from us. What I said, that they cannot take it away from us at all. And you know, the dollar conversation until say buy we bet him say or implement any superior policy intervention. I'm dollar from the argument and the point I'm trying to establish. And say. Dollar number form due to measures are abinded and edigu form.
Right. But as if you for I can check my day now here. Kessben television. So you're lawyer Kwesi Butchie Jr. or a private legal practitioner, say political aid, Boafwa, or Talai Dr. Mahmoud Baumiechi, and AD and come. Working trend for 0551 599 933 0551 599 933. So now you can and so on your message Kakraba. Then we zoom in into NPP Prime Minister Eba and said I can see no almost see no party in penny for the Abbas or Messiah Peace Pact. We say a binum some more cano emwakra. Good evening, offer. I'm Solomon Jagri from Kunso. NPP party must force Ken Ofurata to come back to Ghana, or else they should forget about coming back to power. What is he afraid of? Teacher Eric Eke will be here from Manso Watreso. All NPP delegates, let us all be united and vote massively for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on 31st January 2026 to lead our party, NPP, in 2028 to be our next president of Ghana. Over good evening. I don't understand Bernard Mona and NDC supporters. Can they give us evidence to prove that Furiata has stolen money? Why are they calling him a thief? They should give us a break. They cannot destroy his hard-earned reputation he has gained for many years. Charles from Dansumine. Avapia, good evening to you and your panel. I am watching you live from Doma Hinkro. If former NPP MPs are supporting Dr. Bawumia, we the delegates will vote for Honorable Ken Ohene Ejapon and Kama from Doma Ahinkro and Odwe Efri Ebaye. But at more than NDC must give us a break. Ken Ofrata is not afraid of prosecution, but looking at the harsh bail terms issued by Yoko and NIB to people like Wuntumi, Ken must preserve his health. Ken is sick, so he can. So he can't be in cells for 2 weeks pending his bail. If AG can assure him of quick bail terms, he return to Ghana. NPE Bosiakon Ena Eka. Hello, good evening, Mr. Host. Tell the NPP man to stop Jandam because we Ghanaians have now seen good and bad governance difference. You see, he can't even explain what he is saying. NPP never again. David from BNI and so at the end. Hello, good evening, Ofa. I'm watching you live from Senegal, Kasamas, Elikem, and my name is John Atua San. If I tell NPP man to stop propaganda and hypocritical and tell us the facts, and also they should think about how their promise will end up for them. Good evening, Ofa. Tell lawyer that they should remain focused and avoid responding to naysayers because they just want to distract their attention. This is because they have lost already, looking at the euphoria characterized by the tour of Zawamia and his team across the country. The main opponent is wild than a wounded lion because he has foreseen his downfall on the 31st January. This defeat marks the end of his political career. Therefore, you can imagine how he will behave as the time gets closer. Wishing you the best of luck and good stay in Ashanti region. So yeah, mani titia message no wado. Jomensa organize the NPP Cote d'Ivoire branch to Bamia all the way for Ashanti region. To Bamia win 31st January 2026 because good leader for 2028 is possible. Thanks for Ashanti region supporting Dr. Bawumia. And also the no. Also, for good evening, Galamsey has worsened under this government as compared to Nana Addo's government. Come to my area, people are mining even on roadside without any fear or intimidation from the government. Ramsey from Wasa Japa. Good evening, Ofa. Kwesibochi Jr. is untouchable and intelligent. DMB is going to win overwhelmingly come 31st January. Ofa, where is lawyer Ohene Jan? Ohene Senate is constituency. Lawyer Ho, Wetinenka. Good evening to you, Ofa. Dr. Bawumia is welcome into Ashanti region. 1 year of NDC administration in office is very, very bad. President Mahama has done anything good. That's what you want to write for this country. I agree, Chairman Odino Kweku Apia Koka. This one is coming from Eko the Soso, aka Okoto Rasta of Bobiase. What's good in offer? The past that don't define our future. I'm humbly calling on every woman, youth, and elder to rise and rebuild with me. We will resurrect unity where there was division, voice where there was silence, impact where there was inactivity. Let this be the season of our collective mobilization, empowerment, and transformation. Long live NPP, long live Ewutu Senior West. And also, dear, good evening, Ofa. What Mahama is using to Ghanaian dollars, where is 24-hour economy, electricity and water bills are higher, bright from Takwa. So look at that talk. MPP, never again. This is Abacha from Garu. Good evening. This is neurotransmitter from Pope John Senior High School and Minor Seminary. I will be intellectually dishonest to pretend that the economy has not shown some improvement in recent times. However, I remain firmly convinced that this so-called recovery is largely cosmetic and superficial and is due to cause. It will expose, and in due course, it will expose the fundamental weakness of this government. Okay, the message is not very long. Keep it short and clean. Lawyer, I always admire you so much. You are intelligent and handsome too. Okay, Meka ba ko pe bi na afi yemra metwa so. John Mensa organizer, I think I've read your message and you will come again. John, but me fancy I na from message you wa menka no edoso. We just about 3 minutes kesi ma be miensa na abo nonkrom. I've been changing my day and I hear Kessben television so multi TV code and also your DSTV channel 364, Go TV channel 121, Facebook Live over Kessben TV and our Kessben FM on Sabekai, lawyer Kwesibo Junior, or a private legal practitioner or sounds here political aid, and Dr. Baumi, and so who what in Kabi ne or no any need in common. Lawyer Fiamra, Dr. Baumi, Basantimantemu said, okay, much in Chim Yahudu. Mobile no say na man for gym.
That's a be offer. If we do a Santimantem, and then Tuesday. If we do a Santimantem last week Wednesday from Tamale. So far the campaign has been amazing. The campaign has been very, very good. Campaign the Akuyi. Well, sending out text messages every year. Just say momentum is on our side. Yeah, 15 regions near Ashanti region, the last region.
We are no more.
We are near we. Into baby we were 27th January. Not just a couple 4 days. Now now the interesting thing about Ashanti region is they be forms nominations. No, that akunyana babeton. If you akunyana babeton, if you akunyana so to dia adishie ene pre. Into if you akunyana betoye no. Your party money your youth organizers 530 a move 490 that is the constituency youth organizers and deputies ecofa nomination forms some of the bread Dr. Baumia say so pills on pill about 1 year kwakotono omo pese or contest about 1 because omo hwe no the man with superior ideas are obetimi aboa magana akonanim inti yenso ye forms no wa supem Dr. Baumia fele Obi or submitted forms no Ashanti region or selected the 4 big regions for Ghana. But the kind of Ashanti region say party no ahana ne so no she. Untimi nka NPP ni asanteman free. So ba asanteman mu ebe bo asanteman party regional executives, constituency executives, regional council of patrons, council of elders, constituency council of patrons and council of elders. Any party for penny for former executives at Ashanti regional mania say ye be a nomination wakoff peke form a submitted forms no he be invited into okono oginemu bi into obaba beje o madwen kire o munhira o mpaibo any advice bi o mo wo mo de be man bia in fact any party for ni share no mutu yefu bebre o mo she Dr. Baumia nkran bebre o mo wie no mo de o munhira man say asante maita na echi onko no nko bontoa no nko din koni nti ye wie ye no near co eastern co central and we were Greater Accra. That is the 4 main regions are big regions are you know party in 24 Kokasai. You enough you was here a form. Now you started your constituency tour Nankasa. Into you shall say of the Bono East region. If you Bono East call Bono a call Western region, call Western North a half region. You near central region, Muko Water region, Eko ye OT region. You OT region, you be Greater Accra region. You Greater Accra, you call up north, you upper east, upper west, Savannah region, northeast region, and the northern region. Until we northern region, Tamale, Wednesday now you see Muba Kumase. Wednesday Numre, you do Kumase Wednesday Numre, and on Thursday Anopa, you share Ashanti region. I say, so far has been amazing. Ashanti region, and you may see I say Dr. Baumia was Swami constituency. Our next one, constituency polling station executives, the electoral area coordinators, aiding common earlier in the day, and then or started 1 month where do be a few months where do be no bar man son quanta, a few months on quanta no bar subin, and as you see a war swab constituency. Minyan information say by the next 45 minutes, no Becca say we was swami constituency because we do swami for some man kasa into 30 minutes no na. Info we and then nyomne jamani dede ene ahomkeke wo so am constituency no polling station for ne say Dr. Baumia de omu hia so obekasa convince you
on our chairman sabunsu
constituency. And the interesting thing is that our chairman sabunsu is the national campaign coordinator for the Dr. Baumia campaign intino na che say you drew honey de ni abafie nti na e wo say afie no ye mom ye pa Baumia team ni mum ene so am constituency executives ne kasa say ye odi omunti Dr. Baumia kakra omuso omudi omunti Dr. Baumia because say no mutuma ni boom in 2023 no hwe nsesa ye omo besisa no in 2026 nti no omunim unim mpanifo so bu baby say unim obi anajo a ye nso kanea ewia ye nso kanea nhwe nanim anajo nti no omo kire say Dr. Bawumia de omo na ye party adwuma na so ye ba Ashanti region no it has been great, but you see you got the details of the conversation mo no say you call 2024 elections you lose poto lose na you lose here no all of us were shocked yenia ye botoye. It was a devastating loss. Party 4 across the rank and file of the country, from the north to the east to the south to the west. Everybody was broken. It was a devastating loss. Until you lose here now, when you say organization be a winning kukuba, I say football match. Everybody or some people would want to blame other people other than they themselves. So be a should be this one apart from one kasa. Ya bobo we ni elusua striker the best goalkeeper the best defender the best midfielder show the best coach enti obia be obia blame no which is fair in every organization I see, but I see what NPP mo no I blame you obi no there a year of concern to me eye nsema ye ka say no Franka Nikita Dr. Bawumia into omo person omo je Franka ni free ni nsem na age so munya nsem kafa ne ho, but history tell you and say this is not the first time such a thing AC wa yamanyoku ni because in 1992 ye call abatwa ye lusu ye Professor Dubois. In 1993 the previous year among for concern for Professor Dubois ho na Professor Dubois crowd ye say no ye say inti ye lusu abano 96 ye call ye the President Kufuor call ye 97
some President Dubois no and na mo opponent sigina so say mo Dubois mo dem na answer nti mo yi no nti amanfo nyi Dr. Bawumia.
You see, that argument is not a very strong argument to make. The India makers and say, okay, history now. History nature say Professor Dubois in Koye no. Oko for the second time, he wasn't even interested to contest. That's what the history tells us. Because Obeje say a day before the election in 1996, now the President Kufuor election, a day before election or launching a book on history. And not delegate about the good about senior high school. That time now me very young, but my kind history no. History nature say not delegate about be good Laboni senior high school. Uncle she delegate no, because he wasn't interested. What I say, and also no, it is a matter of public knowledge. Say that time ne Ure Dubois na ne hododo ne kakra. Say be yare die woni pa ho. So far as moja edi ye mo efusani die eden ya yare beba nipa ho. This time so no na history chain say na medically ne so no na on sheda any apomudin kakra na de be contest election. It is an money near contribute here a mark for beating in the 1996 election. But the point is I'm trying to make is that anytime a be election be lose be amount for cancer for amount for President Kufuor 96. The previous year 97, you can send for President Kufuor. E binim say President Kufuor oye mama ba na ye pobia manage power free President Rawlings in same dia ye hu bia ni near dia kakabensem won ni so a obetime ne Rawlings a press wa je power free ni nsem. E binim kra ka say President Kufuor NPP fo ni binim o e ka say President Kufuor pe akonya tena so a onko agloga junction. Ofam gidi say sansem ni de OTV onko agloga junction mayen bo akonya ni bi ma no onko tena so woni fie opema pani akonya dia NPP fo binim enso ka say yanana okonfo anochi ahye nkoma to say Asante ni bia ni ho betimenya tumi echen yewura na na Asante hene enti no Asante ni entimi ndi mampani ma ni nyeye me sure so sansem ni ne abi, but the delegates were clearing their mind say Kufuor ne de ne ba biuma obetima winning the 2000 elections. The delegate presented President Kufuor again and he won the 2000 election. President Kufuor winning 2000 election no Nkrofona no mu blame say oye mama ba oye say no ni mi say mo kan o so 2000 election na ye win ye ne de. It was as a result of the collective effort of party phonia. O man ka say ye di President Kufuor ba biom nti na win 2000 election no. Ye call 2004 ye win ye no. Sa nkrofo na san be ka biom say ye house to house na ade ye nti na etimi winning the 2004 election. 2008 ye the candidate Kufuor do call you lose ye. Sa nkrofo na san sorry biom ebe ka say candidate Kufuor do sebi ne nie den dodo ebinim kra kan ya ka say candidate Kufuor do sebi oye nipa tietia na ye pebe matintin gram ti so rural antrematin ya mana bedi Ghana nima enye nipa tietia ti say President Kufuor do amanfo kan sema kese egu candidate ne so 2012 ye call ya anye yi sa na manfo kai 2016 ye call ya union no mo say a collective effort 2020 ye call ya union mo say a collective effort 2024 ye call ni ye lusu a 2025 you expect say amanfo ebe cancer ma for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia but in some amanfo kanini na ye party bia ye ji research di ye ji polls edi ye ji kebima minkebi di enti ye lusu ya amanfo e kan obi e kanidi amanfo blame among other people no the party sat down your national executive committee of your party ne tenase ka say I was say yetimi interrogating the reasons why the NPP lost the 2024 elections into the Mote committee be omode ye papa Michael Kwe etwa no the former speaker of parliament call across the rank and file of this country and the Ghana folk could din komo ebisa Ghana for say adentina Ghana for MP ankoto abama NPP because social data ne change say nipo 2.1 million omoto abama NPP in 2020 in the 2020 elections now MP ambe participate in the 2024 elections omo beto abama NPP omo so omo nto abama NDC aba no MP kura ambe to bi ta ohwe data no so data no san kire yen say John Mahama win election by a difference of 1.7 million votes. Not just say voter ye in 2020 no anka ye say nya the same vote in 2024 anka MPP win election anka ba ko kran be ka ho a anka MPP win election but nipa 2.1 million and MP ambeto aba entina ye ade a emu awrem e wo se ahwehwem Professor Michael Kwe and an mpanifo e call across the country no the findings by out say San your money in Ghana for so man to aba. Ye dikan findings on the bar out and say MPP for ye wa bemuno ye de etuo bi bae na ye de sa etuo na eba no. Ye ma minimum wo KJTia, ye ma minimum wo Makola, ye ma minimum wo Bantama, ye ma minimum wo Asafo market e ka kire say e-levy bi na mo pese mo de ba no. Ebe ha adwen because ye ma minimum ye wo dwemu a ye traders no. Ye momo na ye dididwa. It is a moody e-levy badia, a beha ya adwinti MPP for Mamonfa e-levy ba. But at the time, no, the government thought it wise, I was almost me implement e-levy into offer. Ye the e-levy ne buy, ye the e-levy ne buy and Ghana for bufu, you almost say into your monk or two.
My main can be a crowd. During that campaign, okay, say one of your campaign platforms. So I think Brad Dr. Bawumia launching a campaign. Nana na dotinechi. Na Dr. Bawumia say I will abolish e-levy.
Right.
On live television.
Right.
Say, me a vice president. Me man penny or G-levy to mechi. And I'm saying, me abolish e-levy. Me confitting so baby. As someone now, the okay. Come on now, boy, see this also bar e-levy return. Then now, power now be here free or winning free. But 20 hours.
Yeah.
Inti, I buy a net so ye part and parcel. Now, I buy any name say, we are the amount from pay. The candidate na cancel about betwem. Ti shaman for vuzu betwem ade na wuntwem ne.
Pacho okwashi die nkameba ho. E kamenya man ho nti ya meduru a meka because a part of the campaign a candidate ni bi tia Dr. Bawumia but meba ho.
Okay, right.
Nti okwe report ne call round no mo kan e-levy say e she Ghana fo ebufu. Ebiom ye betting tax. Say boys are omuka bet odds e ka kire say me emfa betting tax number near the ba omunkoto aba but we bulldoze our way through to get na omubufu your omunkoto aba ebiem omo say aban ni di bibi ba ya friend no domestic debt exchange program DDEP man for investment da ho ye de ensa kan ye pensioners ko ye demonstration finance ministry the former chief justice so fa ye kufu omo say ni nia aka ho and am I lose here because of MPP now there is a perception say MPP a middle class political party. And no more was bond in investment is really a middle class. And Uncle Fry affect me nipa 1.8 million. Into nipa 1.8 million. So be our dependent back na automatically no say who say will lose a majority of vote in every honum. EBM almost say ye MPs ni bi eka say yempam ye finance minister. Ken Ofoyata, Ken must go. But the president, na buying who say, never say you keep Ken Ofoyata into the one part more Ken Ofoyata.
You are now what you say.
Oh, dear, later. But they are not among for the MPs are the representatives of the people. MPs, they say the among crop for the catcher, say, Yampamu Ken Ofoyata. president no ampa mo kenofo yata until last minute no pa mo kenofo yata. Their Ghana for catcher committee, they say, Sir, the enemy MPP looking disorganized. Emma, the government of the day, no, looking disorganized. In the Ghana for who say MPP for Kramu, nim dia sebe, more ye, into the ninety or monk or two about my yen. I can send be I can say, at the Bakuti through Pantia, or when Pianco to about my yen, say, that cost of living cost. 3 days to the election, near Tung petrol. Kanye muyetum cement workers iron board say dollar no so na that time nothing na stabilize kakra enti omo ka say cost of living ka hunti na omo MPA ankoto aba enti election de omo tenase wo fufu di omo ankoto aba enti offer sansem ni nia na okwe report ne de ba out after okwe report no Asante region and a party needs to no share Asante region your vote MPP nyano a decline ye by 60%. It's not alarming. Into Asante Regional Party at Chama won't meet down on in penny for
60%.
Yes, only honorable chairman or say Bonsu, and they running mate at the time, Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe, any senior MPs, Peter Senana, are you a free year, Amprechum Sapon, any other party senior MPs be Joe Wise, Nunia, Komubo, me say, I was here a team year research was Asante Region, the entire Asante 4 MP, Uncle to Obama MPP. Omuni Asante 4 Kasai, the first reason Asante 4 my and it's a Swami interchange. 8 years MPP we left Swami interchange unattended to. Into na create inconvenience. You see any above 4 o'clock or Swami traffic could me 2 hours. Into Asante 4 bufu ye. Say MPP Asante ready na munya vote. Swami interchange bomba na afene sia mwanya ho he 8 years. Into election day no omu wo fufu di omanko to aba. Ebi omo se Kumasi inner city road omo se kwabre force na omo kwan nye nti omo mpia nkoto aba
kwabre de mampani betra ha no se won e won to ma me a self ese wa nde mampani na anumu ebo de ma omo
ebu akwa force ka se omo so infuturo ku omo nti omo anto aba because no omo kwan enye bantama force omo inner city road na potholes agiafa bekwai force so no omo kwan enye Odotobirifo osi omo kwan nye afeso the fight against galamsey in the galamsey constituencies adanse ni ade ni nia so ekutia ye nti ni nia cumulatively
kejetia so omo anto central market moto omo nyina abegu abonten
na
penifo na o party mo regent no omo hu sa ni
pepepe
omo hu
sa pepepe dia kanini no in fact o hwe Asante regional report na me hu one interesting point omo se taxi driver for say na MTT for kratata omo do nti omo nkoto aba interestingly omo se Kumasi for ebinim say your friend is saying Pragia o say then age Kumasi aboso inconvenience omo nti omo mpia nkoto aba. That was the sentiment of the people.
See.
People just what I say. But the interesting point I want to make here is say report here maybe boss winia Musa Dankwaso here report the same thing CDD phone here report ni baby anywhere can say Dr. Baumia ye kramoni ntina Ghana for ankoto aba ama no. Dr. Baumia every northern region ntina Ghana for ankoto aba ama no. Report ni baby anywhere can say Dr. Baumia personality say Dr. Baumia nim kasa Dr. Baumia kaseti amba o kaseti asofo ntina Ghana for anto aba ama no. Report ni baby anywhere e kan sa asem no enti no clearly no ohwa na the 2024 electoral defeat was not as a result of the personality, the religion or the tribe of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia enti na ye lusu ye no but as a result of enyama mabobo bi so report no Asante regional report no kra ba bi kire say DC ni MPs, DC ni PCs in Tokwa contributed to our loss because that time no be kaya ni ye astrotef pa. You see DC is no commission astrotef na. E binim timika say where the MP say nim, where the PC say nim mimi DC no. And I may see astrotef no. Me wa DC no near the ballot. MP so ye adwuma na so commission MP ni timika say where the mia MP ni na my abainin say nim. Me wa na aya abaini nia na MPP nia na election so sa nia mani nia ka ho na e ma ye lose election.
This is not the first time na ma ba bem.
Right.
Ti na mo need this experience.
Right.
Say sa nia me nyina say mo ko especially mo second term no. Ma hwe ni e bekam.
Absolutely. Inti no say I agree say the excesses of abaino affect your candidate. But the point I want to make here clearly is that 2024 electoral laws, it was not because of the candidature, the personality, or the tribe of Dr. Bawumia. Because and then in conform ne kwa kensi any binia nipa 5 no offer. Conform 5 no mo contest election no obi asefata wo. Omu ni omo qualify. Omu ni omo NPP for. Omu ni omo asom party no. But ye pe obi obetima win power dia. Inti na mpanifo e party ni dodo na edi Dr. Bawumia echi. Inti na mebu na party ni dodo na edi Dr. Bawumia echi. Omo say it's about power. It's not about where you're madamfo. It's not about where you're minia. Okay. It means I'm making a foundation. Say, omo bani ni obi asefata. But the point is that in some binimo kase say no, I intro, I propaganda, I konkonsa.
Clear that area.
The first konkonsa ni say, omo say Dr. Bawumia inti ni elusu ye no. And then madi banki say research be anywhere chire. Omo kasa ni na emotional argument omo make. In concerning intro number 2, biome binimo can say, Dr. Bawumia kura and no question I'll be saying. Say no can abai ne ho. Yes, no economic management team ne kura no ye chairman. Solid team. Enti say economy na tetia pansama. Enti kwesi bo twe nsema okay ni and say cost of living has skyrocket here. And there's also born was here the chairman of the economic management team and the vice president Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And nene messenger ibinim de nam. But offer, yembisa ya hon say the first question is economic management team ne kura na de ba de. Economic management team no it's like any other team yeah president na setting it up say omuntu president na for on matters of the economy. Aside the economic management team there are so many advisory bodies etuman penini for. But here your constitution ni ma somewhere around article 68 clear said the vice president, he shall perform such roles and functions as may be assigned to him by the president. Vice president, juma at the pleasure of the president. And like the word suggests, who advise you be offer the person the year juma or the year juma. You cannot interfere in the person's work. Tisesa ni awoka say oko baby a oko din komo a man for say Dr. Bawumia say obo betwa 11 mo de no ntwa 11 mo sisi ya. Dr. Bawumia didn't have the power to cancel 11. Vice president ni yes akura na ye beka ne say oya ye insubordination gross insubordination and no quarantine ye timidi yi free office as a vice president because you don't have the constitutional power. Say o president are taking decision o vice president who be fair say o ba betwem I just say vice president na nkasa no Ghana for to abama ne mane be mampeni mane be nya executive power because vice president uni executive power bia na
kumia say Dr. Bawumia he wasn't in charge of the economy
because that is the truth. Dr. Bawumia was not in charge of the economy because my member classical example and let me relate it to ene de ekoso once ene say na di kan NDC for no o master ti nya economic gains kakra me pa what that say obi de credit in my vice president nipo mo de credit in ma na ye mampani Mahama ato forcing Bank of Ghana governor no me de sami jamfi aka ho me pa me boa offer ona de bia o tie fidie so ane Ghana for din komo what to say obi NDC ni pani bi ka say economy na e koso as say nya inflation single digit no as a result of the proactiveness of Nana Jenopoko Ajemai because they know say it is not the job of the vice president to manage the economic affairs of the country. And then the constitution is clear. Say about economic stability is the job of the finance minister and the Bank of Ghana governor. Into vice president in Kurano say who do who rewra bebrea omubeti maka ne say who interfere in their job. And then make come with video so Dr. Bawumia was not in charge of the economy. Dr. Bawumia was not in charge of the economy. There were people who were in charge of the economy, the finance minister, the Bank of Ghana governor at the time, and other people who were constitutionally mandated to manage the affairs of the economy. There is nowhere in Ghana where the vice president is the one in charge of the economy. Anybody can challenge me on this. There is no legal provision that suggests say vice president or no there was or in charge of economic stability. But the constitution is clear say on matters of economy and currency stabilization, it is the job of the Bank of Ghana governor, the central bank. And yet Dr. Bawumia Juma, all what Dr. Bawumia can do, they say obetu for say mampeni ilevie debe cabinet ilevie debe de minjini say ebema Ghana for ho atom mpacho ka ne say it is incumbent on cabinet o befa na omfa Inti no enya no krese the economy was being run by Dr. Bawumia. Inti na Dr. Bawumia time bia na okase onu do ye mate. Me pacho say mate ne driver to car mu a na say traffic here. Is it the decision of the mate to decide say ye be di traffic na so na ye be dodge traffic no? Me pacho mate ni decision na driver ni decision.
Driver
ni decision.
Mate is catch say bia kwa bi do high fa ha.
But say mate ni kana say driver ni say there be on fa hwe.
No nya we nyi.
Obetima for say driver no. Obetima so driver ni me ni. Sa pepe na asem no esitie. Inti no it is not true say Dr. Bawumia was the one in charge of the economy. Concern number 2 and intro number 2 e koso am gidi say what be ni say omo say Dr. Bawumia kra ni kromufo no anto abama no. Na ye de ne ba 10 times a obelusu 10 times if we say ni kromufo anto abama no.
Nye ni kromufo per se boko conflict no mche say one faction empedo
sa pepepe. And then intro omoka. But the atia ni say once any election no baby wo ho no ma Dr. Bawumia enya 0 was on polling stations no hwe data na Mahama so nya 0 some polling stations so nim de ntia so I'm talking between the Mampusis and the Kusasis a sensitive matter or two for the mediation aba I don't want to go into it but when I'm saying it for the purposes of the electoral data electoral data nature say baby and the Mampusi polling stations are not Dr. Bawumia a free honor the Kusasis couldn't cross to go and vote there enti no mo person mo to abama Mahama in those Mampusi polling stations no because we went man cross yan call into Mahama nya 0 saso na Kusasi polling stations no because Mampusi for now mo register with Kusasi polling stations then ti man cross ambeto aba with Kusasi polling stations enti no baby we on ma Bawumia so nya 0 in the Kusasi polling stations
both sides
both sides
okay
and it's as a result of the sensitive issue for any penny for a mediator no inteno cry the men ko but generally what they are saying is that because of ekramoni no Ghana for MP am beto abama no Dr. Bawumia co primaries in 2023 NPP money the pabe 6 or 7 a contest here omunya no me Christopher but the NPP delegates at the time were clearing their mind say Ghana ha no enye about obisom enye about bebia obi free it is about the competence and the vision of the person. Into no to abama Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia against all Christians. But over in Japan, me de minim nesom. Because Matisa wa cancer bizo etia Christopher. I don't know his religion. But that time na ose akoto efi ye eka ho. Oye Christo ni. That time na onabu joga te kan. Oye Christo ni. That time na kwabre this year asantiman this year kojopoku eka insafo poku eka ho. Oye Christo ni. Omonom ka onia no me Christophonia me pacha omunyo mu lusu ye at the end of the day the NPP for koto abama kramoni which means the NPP for recognize say Dr. Bawumia it is about the competence and what he's bringing on board and not about his religion and this obi be ka say the chrome for anto abama na the first point is that NPP for and predominantly delegates ne Christians to abama in 2023 to lead the party no mo to abama na nso no offer the data shows that once I make say bia misi data enye me emotions and am adwene na me dey cast me the data na da ho no na me dey cast the data shows that NPP anytime I be lose election bia no ye win 2 regions 96 ye lose ye win 2 regions per Ashanti region and Eastern region 2008 ye lose ye win only 2 regions Ashanti region and Eastern region the same as 2012 the same as but 2024 you need 3 regions you need Ashanti region Eastern region and the Northeast region
because on the region ketwe we akavo no
Dr. Bawumia eye Mampusi nia ofri Walewale constituency Walewale constituency na the Northeast region that is the only region Ebeka in the 2024 elections but all the time MPP lusu nia no we need just 2 regions which means enya Dr. Bawumia ne baye and uncle be full for the buy and one here as 41.7% now and so better again the data again shows that across the country esan regions am a boss who are committee in the buy in constituency be a vote to sort here honorable by the champ abetifi constituency me constituency here in price constituency me kwa oni
okay
constituencies ni a vote so here abetifi your vote to sort here the only constituency you vote appreciate here e course in the 2024 election was the Walewale constituency. Your vote no control by 25%. On okay Japan constituency crowd here, I think say you lose seat no. na ye lose seat no nim nipa o wini ye kramoni na wini seat no e wo no bka Japan constituency asen central enti say ade a Ghana for eyiyi mu say o ya akani o ya kramoni o ya nzemani ntie nto aba amawa anka menji ndi say asen central a eye central region eye predominantly accounts any infantifo no any asenfo mo ye account speaking people no omo beto aba makramoni wo ono bka Japan constituency say ombedi omini as a member of parliament enti ni see ye ka election wo krom ha it is not about the tribe of the person offer konkonsa any intro number 3 a omo dey call round and they say Dr. Mahmoud Baomi akra no or no the worst performing candidate in the history of the NPP me say what
I'm so nya 38.
That is not what the data shows. The data at the Electoral Commission doesn't show so 38%. Ayentro. Obi obeka say Dr. Mahmoud Baomi nya 38% be and nipa no dintro. The person is only trying to be mischievous, unreasonable and illogical because the data by the Electoral Commission is clear say results are declare MPP nya was 41.7%. Almost say ono na wanya ade. But obeje di say you call the 1996 election, President Kufuor in 38%. Until year 2024 election, you Dr. Baomi team, you call President Kufuor. No, me can't be any call President Kufuor fee. You call President Kufuor fee in Masamo Kai. Or catch Dr. Baomi say, a man abemumbu. Na o shenin crying. Say, so no, it me free 38%, 39%. If we 39%, it me be D Mampeni with about 53% in 2000 yeah. Then Dr. Baomi bit me for 41% in Swaba be D Mampeni in the next election. Into a man abemumbo. So it is not true that Dr. Baomi is the worst performing candidate. But you see, there is an interesting pattern in Ghana higher electoral history. The interesting pattern is that Ghana has rewarded political consistency. Mampeni bi a wa baby
a otaye to aso aye
sapepepe ansa na Ghana for beto abama as president no omo pese omo so wakoma he so formidability he so resilience he ye for Mampeni ni ma won a silver platter e bin see that enti na we hear Mampeni bi a wa baby on the first attempt on winning with the exception of President Mahama in 2012. And President Mahama winning in 2012 was an exceptional circumstance. The sitting president and the candidate at the time, that time not Professor Mills, and the candidate of the NDC going into the 2012 election. Oh, we are 6 months to the election. Oh, we in July. Into a year no NDC for a year campaign. The only year I says that time no me kaipa 2012. Obeso TV biano. Nyuma betiane ye diare wo na angels free soro. As of President Mahama and Sabako ha, as of President Mills Bako and Sawaha, near the Omoko heaven. Hanabisu campaign or and say of friend him baninia beshiaye. Any ama beniwa domu and no musu. Professor Mills who could the age 1 year. So the 2012 election was not an issue based election. Then no crying we are crying send the copy court say NDC for ne we aye. A copy court in they say you and I were not there. I'll come there later. But the point I'm making here is that no president na waba on the first attempt Ghana for to Abama. President Rawlings do be in 1992 or succeeding from military era to constitutional era.
Yeah.
1996 President Kufuor for the first time. Olusuye. Ofa NPP we me bo NPP dey answer na maba in this day. 1996 President Kufuor for the first time Olusuye. But because delegates ni repeating ni biom no 2000 okoye no ko win here. Candidate Akufo-Addo ba first time 2008 Olusuye. Delegates ni repeating in 2012 Olusuye. 2016 Yakoto Aban one of the main reasons why Ghana for to ba president Akufo-Addo ni say wabre from 2008 nyefa man na ye the man. Eka ho despite the promises near the adenia but eka ho no Ghana for to aba man. Now be here esan sa assembly sa party in NDC for no so ni place out there. President Mills back for the first time. Olusuye in 2000. Oba second time 2004. Olusuye. But NDC phone were clear their mind say, me kai pass that time NDC phone penny phone bi ase do nketiane omo mokeka kwa me na ahoy nam. Omo say Professor Mills that wheelchair book rom de ne beba. Because they know the value in political consistency. Omo repeating in 2008 and win here. President Mahama 2012 when on a silver platter no but you say nya kai dia Ghana for the year in 2016 unprecedented at the time because their Ghana for kai ne say 2012 esa say omo demand on sympathy grounds no buy no the Ghana call IMF obaye no yenya graduate unemployed association say na unemployment as skyrocket obaye no de Ghana ekodum so mu obaye no de ahokyere eyeden eba Ghana eka ebe mene Ghana enti no omuhu ni say omode man for the first time ninti no one bro nya ninti one born homode inti oba for the second term no mo born hwe 1 million vote on president at the time sitting president. But okoye na bemembu oba biom 2020 me ye wie 2016 election na minim say President Mahama ya ne baba ye ne
Omabio
NDC for ne de ne ba biom omode ne ba in 2020 they knew said they were not going to win the 2020 elections with Mahama, but omode ne ba ye man be close gap no from 1 million votes to 500,000 votes omode ne ba 2024 biom na Ghana for say wa bere and then why dem man pani wa Ghana ha ye President Mahama it no hwe Ghana ha no asa na obedi man pani ni they will test your resilience.
Okay,
omo be so wa akoma hwe no fa make a point when so one interesting part about this very point is that ohwe Ghana ha man pani bia yenya bia no eye man pani a oni nipo ne contest election and a hand over power man no.
Okay,
e die hwe history nim we de obebo am history ne kakra 90 sana midi kan 92 Rollins ne succeed no ho 2000 me pacho wana ni win election no President
Kufuor
2000 President Kufuor na win election no when they hand over power ma President Kufuor Rollins the President Kufuor ko contest in 1996
to free horo no de man
no de man nipa no ne ko contest in 1996 no President Kufuor 2008 say 2004 the Kufuor na succeed no 2008 one na win here President Mills when they hand over power ma President Mills President Kufuor the President Kufuor mo ko contest 2000 esa ko contest 2004 President Kufuor Ekono eno hand over power ma Mills on any call contest 2012 Mahama SOCD no ho because atamos wo ye no 2016 but when hand over power ma President Akufo-Addo John Mahama any President Akufo-Addo call contest in 2012 Mahama Ekono eno de power ne ma President Akufo-Addo in 2016 2020 President Akufo-Addo na SOCD no ho 2024 President Akufo-Addo Ekon why no hand over power man no Mahama on any call contest 2020 any call contest 2016 and any call contest 2012
the chat na to amamo
until 2024 no 2028 no Dr. Bawumia babio President Mahama on election bio President Mahama Ekon why no be hand over power man no Dr. Bawumia because on any call contest in 2024 in as much as it may sound interesting, no? That is what the history teaches us. So the history teaches us there is value in political consistency. No, for me, the man who see on this point, you know, on this political consistency, you know, it demonstrates that Dr. Bawumia was suffer and as was passing the resilience test, you know.
What makes him stand tall?
And then my family no see what ha. The chese was passing the resilience test. And they say, "Upe Ghana ha." Obia wa face adversity politician wa face challenge per Dr. Bawumia den America sa onu kwane politician in the history of this country in the last 25 months election kwana wako 2023 obekaya November 2023 ye primaries born to the whole Ghana say NPP yento abaman as a presidential candidate right after that the next 1 year December 2024 osam born to say yento abaman as president and a young win 2025 Osa born to us to Abamano as presidential candidate. Ni Ghana fo nim say Dr. Bawumia almost on a coma.
Right.
Nim say amongst all the candidates, Obia Niwa he's been able to achieve such resilience. Offer Mria and can send this pele propaganda back.
Maybe other main camera. I was for I've been changed within our Kessben television, so no lawyer Kessben Junior, Bijanwa, and you can Ian Kokra. May Kwaba, no afim Babe, dear Ma Dr. Bawumia, a demfua, a Latin for se primus inter pares. First among equals. So no kind nipa numni na qualify. Did you just Dr. Bawumia pa na this time? Also ko na enye Kenya pon, enye Dr. Uchum, enye Brian Champon, enye Kwabreje Japan. Na eye Bawumia nkwa. What makes him stand tall among all the rest? Teacher Kudo from Tepa Enyesuso. NDC is doing everything in its power to market a certain candidate in the NPP flagbearers race so that their new candidate can win the 2020 elections. They are very much aware Ghanaians won't vote for that candidate. Hence, their desperate moves to help the person win at all costs. God is in control and will make Bawumia win hands down. Greetings to Chairman Odeneho Kweku Apia Kuka. If Bawumia was not in charge of the economy, fine. What then was his achievement? That he is the best candidate among the others. Teacher Obey from Kwaso and always free a buyer. Mr. House, Bawumia's own people are fighting him because every good thing about NPP is him who does it. But when it is bad, he disassociates himself from it. Ken without him, no power 2028. Mr. Ben from Asinfusu, way free a buyer. Good evening. Let the NPP members who are following Bawumia know that Ghanaians are not ready for another president who is also from the north. Tony Ade Pokudiasi new site, way free a buyer. Good evening. Some NPP members believe Bawumia is already well marketed and may win the delegates vote, but my analysis suggests that if he becomes the NPP flag bearer for 2028, the party may lose 2028 general elections. It's never true that Mahama took Ghana to do so. Yes, you were young there. You were young. There was a song under Kufo Anopa Fui. You may be a Fui. Okay. Right. Lawyer, my member messages no endorsement. Mr. Menkai there Fachemi. We pass solo from Accra. Okay, so please tell Kessben Jr. that no amount of Pangada can erase the good work of President Mahama and the NDC government. Okay, Mr. Omes, last one, no, Eddie Frigo. Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
A dear Nama Dr. Bawumia, a dance.
The man Dr. Bawumia dance when they say election a contest of ideas. Me pacho what you say. A contest of ideas, and so they are not just say we say you knew beer. Or superior ideas, Number 2, we see a new beer or you're winnable. Election na corner. Candidates never banini 5 new beer sefata. But he will be winning the 2028 elections. Number year, Dr. Bawumia. He is the most winnable candidate because we share the Americana about the political consistency now or not take a box now. Again, when him say Ghana ha, in fact in NPP say. There is no politician or what nyasa political track record say you will be a NPP politics no with the more Dr. Bawumia. Considering the fact that President Akufo-Addo is still around. Why am I saying this? Dr. Bawumia has been part of NPP's last 5 consecutive presidential election processes. 2008 he was part as a vice running mate. 2012 he was part as a running mate, 2016 running mate, 2020 vice presidential candidate, 2024 presidential candidate. 5 times. President Akufo-Addo was the presidential candidate in 2008, 2012, 2016, presidential candidate in 2020, 2024 one call. So President Akufo-Addo has 4 electoral cycles to his credit. Dr. Bawumia has 5. Candidates now are contesting in 5 and obi anu oba kokra. Yes. But since 2008, Dr. Bawumia has been part of the party's last 5 electoral processes, not just as anybody, but as a front runner. People just want the Americans. It gives him that kind of market value. Candidates now are contesting here. This is the first time we've been in area regions. But since 2008, Dr. Bawumia was born to us. Maybe you'll be no. Again, say uko fie bia mu Kumasi Ghana hafa ni na ubore fie bia mu offer political parties mienu na eye predominant wa Ghana ha eden ya fie bia wo political party ba ku t-shirt pacho say NDC t-shirt a wana na nim da so
Mahama
NPP t-shirt a wana na nim da so
Bawumia
pacho Mahama obesan ko election bia
David
nti wana Ghana fo nim no
you see, we say a lot of permutation now. Yeah,
there be a lot of permutation. When your friend historical analysis. Me for just what you say. Analysis na me you. It in the social analysis now. NDC for the new candidate beba. I feel no ba turn ho. One say even your internal elections you kura no. Omo contesting ya baby abefe bia bo so man for billboard is your but you won't say Dr. Bawumia mountain billboard because on here so be mountain billboard. Delegates no be any Dr. Bawumia. delegates na ekoto about 2023 no omo na ekoto aba no obi anim Dr. Bawumia it in the market value no ekwa ekire chen all the other candidates. It Dr. Bawumia is a well marketed candidate a Ghana ha obi anim no se oboni din say Dr. Bawumia then awaba be ya starting from answer no beba be vice president kra no a Bank of Ghana governor. Unim say ye see the redenomination a year under President Kufuor no. He played a pivotal role. Ye Ghana ha yes san yesika no. Dr. Bawumia as a deputy Bank of Ghana governor no or kan manfo a de adwen ba yes say san yesika nim because yesika no that time na ho den kofom into the CD redenomination no kan ho bi and ye this yes san yesidi no. Obedi Mampani no he has 33 achievements to his credit. Offer me can the times without number say Inyama papa a course wo NPP abemu bia Dr. Bawumia no kan bi. Inyama boni a course unia no so no kan bi. Mimbe ka say inyama boni e kan by Dr. Bawumia no kan.
Na man for ka say boni dey anu yim ho afri. There
be no kan bi. But say obeka say ade ne hye ne nsa a different conversation and ye na hye ne nsa. Me pa just what the American say. So that is the point we are talking about. The achievement need bebre ene me dey say produce and the transport electric buses here betuja transport crisis esi wa Accra Dr. Bawumia electric buses no and about to the rescue Sami Jamfi na odi gold board CEO or fili wo gold board ni ade ni ayi me pacho gold board no achievement as Sami Jamfi bo hu the Ronian DC for bo hu asafo hen no it is as a result of the solid idea Dr. Bawumia de buy with the gold reserves program. And your gold domestic gold purchase program, no gold reserves program at Dr. Bawumia de buy and NDC program komunya adwin some de buy the gold board program. But just what I say, so the NDC is riding on the solid ideas of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Again, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia President Kufuor Akama yati asia say the 121 ambulance no any vision our the buy the mobile money interoperability unim say ban no job creation ye pobia mana create sustainable jobs Dr. Bawumia because candidates now omo kasani ni no ka say factory enye obia no person ye adwuma factory mo me oya factory na de me beto ano me nya adwuma factory offer but you am factory adwuma say ko ye adwuma ko store abetima ye to me, interested in factory jobs, but your sustainable jobs are a mob nubeti maye jumaye. In any case, so also a factory or hotel Tigana front to Abama, hotel and factory now 1 year to Abama. If I saw about bottom neba and back Ghana coffers mo. And Crofona wa form where you money they are working for your personal interest and your personal benefit. They are not working for the interest of Ghana. And this is oba besi factory and no crown ye grounds craft for conflict of interest. In Grofona Mokasa asem no crown. They don't even know what they are talking about. Say, oh, you might and to Abama. Just imagine say at Ghana, not President Mahama. Jata cement President Mahama dear. Not President Mahama fam mebre jumako Jata cement nkwa. Only ni say grounds for conflict of interest. Say man for because I didn't na president no offer in mebunu ejuma eko onu ankasa ne personal ejuma. But it is about creating sustainable jobs and benefiting the Ghanaian people. The mobile money interoperability na ye kan ho asem no fa answer kan mobile money interoperability. So the interesting point is that job creation goes hand in hand with economic growth. Because if your economy is not growing, how do you create jobs? And so if you idea, you have the poverty of ideas to create economic growth, you cannot create jobs. And in the argument about the job creation, there the idea no, omuntimi for ideas and bias, a bit mama economic growth no. And the idea about job creation, it is a very weak argument to make. But Dr. Bawumia say oba be my economy no akosoro. Or then she say, yeah, but you be who economic transformation. If you say about jobs, and maybe back to jobs, and mobile money interoperability, they buy. For him, say they buy a in 2017. Now mobile money for amount for mobile money joining ya no me 198,000. If you say that time now mobile money nenye nika. If you say oh MTN, oh sika oh MTN, and not even transfer and cover Vodafone. Usika wa bank account and me from ba momo. Usika wa momo and me from bank account. To Dr. Bawumia the idea be by says that time we asa fanini ne bi amba baby. Or the idea be by say any idea be friend the mobile money interoperability. Say ne be ya obi wo mobile money MTN a obetima send this car ko Vodafone obi of Vodafone obetima send this car ko MTN obi sika wo the bank obetimi dia ba ni momo so obi sika wo ni momo so obetimi dia kwa the bank so or this idea ni ni aba ye no creating more jobs to the extent say ye free power in 2024 na mobile money vendors moving from 198,000 to 989,000. That is about 800,000 jobs with the mobile money interoperability idea alone. NIA Ghana card obi any say Ghana card ye sha se kufu abreso and this is for by man rolling it out. Dr. Bawumia by no my rolling it out. Ghana card rolling out and create 66,000 jobs. Go for a form of NIA, and almost NIA. Oman take biometrics across the various districts near. They are still working. This is as a result of the idea of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Over here, a binomo, I am so obsessed with Dr. Bawumia. The bill of Mudina term and bra question I'll be saying me initially. I'm a cancer member. Often I'm a baho. Obi say Dr. Bawumia a chantro, Dr. Bawumia a fit to be a leader near the idea if you say what be. Asemna nipa kura ni se Dr. Bawumia kan kura Dr. Bawumia ka sa asem ne eti nipa ne kura no person obedi mampani ne kura nipa ne kura no ye man information he doesn't have the capabilities to even verify information before speaking to it. But I have said say I will not respond to sir allegations ne sir unnecessary attacks and insinuations sir omo attack Dr. Bawumia no because it is as a result of frustration and again it is nipa ni su offer if we ask you obi ani nisu and this obi demonstrating nisu a then you betima ka fa nipa nisu ene ne ban ho enti nka hwemfa ho but it reflects how nipa kro no otie but Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia de o se ono onyi na no ne enyi na no chena but offer me pese me fa we fidie so na me ne NPP phone ni akasa se attacks especially NPP phone penny for say attacks are candidates ni be the good Dr. Bawumia so day and night they be a did in attempt recent one their honorable candidate a Japan attack Dr. Bawumia. They have to call the candidates to order because if they don't do that then they are forcing a certain kind of pattern in the NPP because just imagine say Dr. Bawumia ejita for so ebe can same threats our candidate in this one then what kind of party are we building? So the party must set up. I am aware that the party is going to sign the peace pact. But in the face of the peace pact, if they are unable to resolve some of these issues and to call some of these persons to order, then I do not know the weight edema peace pact. No? But what I say, because you cannot come and insult somebody and the next moment you expect the person to sign a peace pact. But Dr. Bawumia de Obian himself, he embodies humility, he embodies unity, he embodies say obeka obia abeno entino offer
was two former presidents in a former president Kufuor and now the efre candidacy nyina but I'm said the kind na anyadwuma because someone bomb or motu to gumo no
adwuma
said the because no na mbobo another year campaign tiam hono
yeah unim me no ya adwuma no nya adwen meka say ye adwuma but any day ni obuo na candidate ni bi mfama the former president no denti ameka say ye adwuma ni say so far ya 15 regions so far ya close to 256 constituencies be bia ni wa ya kwa Dr. Bawumia gina bo obidin aka asem be bia ni wa ya kwa Dr. Bawumia edi obi atem nowhere. But day in day out, Dr. Bawumia kwan o maka na asema manfo twantro gu ni so ebinim twantro say yeah Zongo police station kura Zongo police station ba ko pe ne wini ye twantro gu ni so didi ne yire atem say ne yire nya Ghana ni Dr. Bawumia kura ye outsider ne yire ye say e kan sem ya e fa Dr. Bawumia ho but history try say anytime I be kan sem ya ye be twantro ato obi so no candidate bi so no say candidate ni na Ghana fo hu ne mobo eto abama no omo kansen fa Kufuor ho omo kansen fa president Akufo-Addo ho eye nkofo kuo ketwa bi o wo amanyoko nipa ba ku mienu bi pe a ene ye hu omu yi sa nkrofo no omo asefo ene nkrofo a omo sua ade afiri omo nche sa nkrofo na kansen fa amanfo ho omo ka fa Akufo-Addo ho e ka fa president Kufuor ho ene omo ka fa Dr. Bawumia ho but it clearly sends the signal say Ghana for ebeto abanama Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia enti offer medema no si aba nsensem we nia no Dr. Bawumia se oba be ye welfare database system e di aboa ye party for no ye party for no fa obi ani na same here Obia ni de da na koma so. Offer me no mienu a yeti studio hey. Me no mienu ya se me hia enye the same thing. Obia won de. Into Dr. Bawumia say our database na ye ba be connected to the needs of our party people. Into ye nim say party ni owo Menchia South polling station Methodist polling station A chairman aseme hia ne say opese ne ba eko soldier se soldier akwan be mu na se o apply ya eno an say ye man ati asese soldier ba okona koto forms na ko apply or apply na so go through the processes na so pass ya fa no enya fe na obeti say ye kwa koton soldier slot ye kwa koton school placement slot, national service slot kura ni eton, scholarship slot ni eton.
Ne because sa on.
Oh, ne akoso. Ne akoso. Sa nyama ni aye nyama e wo say itimi put a stop to it. Dr. Bawumia say oba, he's come to put a stop to it. So we are going to have a database. Obi a ohia ade bia no, ye de mawa. Say na be ya say ye de mawa na akoton kura ye be hu say ye de mawa no wan use no akoton na ade obi foforo aye de aba be hye ho. Sene be ya ye be boa ye party for ebiom Dr. Bawumia so oba be ye constituency based budget. So constituency based budget na any job creation enam. That is the pragmatic idea about job creation. It's not a matter of cost or it's not a matter of hotels. The pragmatic idea about job creation of Dr. Bawumia de bani say oba be ye constituency based budget. Constituency based budget and only say what they say in your kind budget na offer budget ni ministries and department based. In the kind budget now better Ministry of Agric, Ministry of Information, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Trade ni ade. On to say yeah bo constituencies needing wom. Meanwhile the people they live in the ministry they live in the constituencies.
That's why they have common fund for a district.
But the common fund is woefully inadequate for proper developmental projects in the various districts. But the Dr. Bawumia Kasobeni say oba ye the constituency based budget. Say be as say a kind budget na. Budget na be addressing the needs of the constituency. Inti enim say in Shayeso constituency ana Odotobri constituency. Ade a ho mo pa ni say omo hia secondary school a. Obati say in 2029 budget na Dr. Bawumia be man the finance minister kan no. Yebeka say in the Shayeso constituency yeba be see school dan ewa ha say in the Odotobri constituency yeba be ye road say kilometers and Dr. Bawumia also says our project in the contractors will be appointed locally. Send a be creating jobs for the local people.
Okay.
Me pacho say what you say. And you know, you realize the constituency based budget is a novel idea Dr. Bawumia edeba to create sustainable jobs for the youth of this country.
Okay.
Yeah, cause a job site is not a matter of me na me wo hotels, me na me wo say. It's not no money nice to the personal benefit of somebody. We need sustainable jobs for our people. Offer.
Oh yeah, person you say na money that so mbenya. Ko post na ba bebre. Be say ba ko ba no say Ken lady be 50 something. Mo research chire say Dr. Bawumia obi wini am.
Sa post na chire say Ken wini 57%. A post without an address. You need the pakro ye post, you know. Omokofa some 2-3 crofobia na come boom. Ken supporters be no matina baby atro baby just to satisfy the ego and the pleasure of candidate Japan because Dr. Bawumia election win no enye 50-50 affair. Dr. Bawumia is winning. I am clear in my mind and I have the strongest of conviction that the delegates of the New Patriotic Party are going to reward Dr. Bawumia for a juma waye edi aboa party no for a juma opese oye edi boa party no any your mind. I am very clear in my mind say the delegates are going to follow the history and do what they did for President Kufuor. The delegates are going to follow the history and do what they did for President Kufuor and do the same thing for Dr. Bawumia because when said Dr. Bawumia is the most winnable candidate Ghana for nim na say Dr. Bawumia no okakasade say Dr. Bawumia no ondi mbatem say Dr. Bawumia no oni asofofo enkontokwa say Dr. Bawumia no omba embe kasa bia ehunte say Dr. Bawumia contest a yɛkɔ no or recognize sɛ ɛyɛ fie akonnwa na ababeto ne fie akonnwa nso to adehye na pre nti nkɔfo ne ɔmo contest ni ayɛ adehye a ɔmo wɔ NPP ni mu nti ɔnkasa ntia obia sɛ ne bɛyɛ yɛ to aba ne wie 31st a ɔbɛtima ka ɔmo nia bom na ɔne ɔmo nia yɛ campaign 2028 abom because he recognizes and appreciates the fact that our major opponent is 2028. Our major opponent is not anybody. Dr. Bawumia acknowledges and appreciates that our major opponent Ghana ha in elections NDC and not candidate Japan, and that is why Dr. Bawumia will not respond to candidate Japan's lies today. He will not respond to candidate Japan's insults tomorrow. He will never address candidate Japan in any of his addresses on the delegates. He's focused on the delegates. He's focused on delivering election 2028 for the NPP. Enti offer ubisamia me in kase minim nyansa chain NPP delegate make us NPP delegate be my so percentage, but the delegates have assured me say this election is not a 50-50 election. This election Dr. Bawumia is going to win emphatically. And you know the ebe ya ni say ye be koso asre delegates no say omunim dia Dr. Bawumia ye omunim dia Dr. Bawumia eye omunim dia Dr. Bawumia ebe ya momo enti yesro mo omokwa abano omunkoto Emma Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia for the future of this country. Not just for Dr. Bawumia himself, but for the future of this country, for the future of the MPP, and for the future of every single delegate or what the MPP mo.
Right. Well, CP. Lawyer Kessben Jr. or a private legal practitioner or so a political aid or Boaforce from Kwamanyo 7. What Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia Dr. Bawumia to aba santimante mu and oba no edi enkomo